action. Thank you so much for reporting for duty for Pretty Princess Command Center episode 11, where I'm going to teach all of you pretty princesses exactly what the fuck a monthly audit is and why you need to start doing it, because it literally will change your life. It will absolutely change your life, and I can say that because I started doing it and it completely changed my life. It's the most amazing thing ever. And as always, if you want to become an official member of the Pretty Princess Command Center, all you have to do is subscribe. It's not that fucking hard. Please do it. Please do it, okay? Okay, so first and foremost, what even is a monthly audit? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's just an audit of your month. Let me pull up the definition of audit. A systematic review or assessment of something. So it's literally exactly what it sounds like. It's you just looking at whatever month you're looking at and just taking an account of it. Just seeing everything that went on in that month. So let's break down how to actually do it, because it's literally, one, it's so easy, and two, it's low-key kind of fun. Because if you're like a competitive person, like I'm a very competitive person, and I also do really well under pressure. Like I don't really do that well if I don't have pressure, if I don't have anything, like if I don't have a deadline for things, I literally will just like put things off and not do things. So I very much like to do these monthly audits because it allows me to be in competition with myself, which is the only person you should be in competition with anyway, because literally, like, why would you compete? Like, if you can't compare yourself to anybody else, because you're literally on your own life path, you're on your own journey. If you can't compare, you can't compete, because you can't compete where you don't compare. We are like in the middle of the month right now, so you can go ahead and do this for the previous month. So you could do this for October, or you could do it at the end of this month, which is November, but whenever you're watching this, whatever. You could go ahead and do this for November. So basically when you're going to do this is you're going to do this either the second to last day or the last day of the month. I kind of like to start it on the second to last day, just because I feel like at the end of the month, like at the last day of the month, I already have a million other things to do. But also it is fun to make this a very like ritualistic routine type of thing that you do on the last day of every single month. But basically you're going to look at the previous month. Let's say we're going to do our November audit. So on November 30th, we are going to take a look at November 1st through 29th. We're going to look at the month as a whole. So just like, okay, what did you do this month? What were some things that you enjoyed doing? Like, what were some annoying things that you had to do? Like, oh, maybe like, oh, I had to get an oil change. I stopped working out, or I started working out, or oh, like this class really was hard for me, or oh, I got sick this month. Like, you're literally just gonna take a look at the month. And this is especially helpful if you've already made goals and habits for the month, which we'll go into that later. But if you've done that, then you're going to take a look at your goals that you made for November. You're going to take a look at the habits you made for November, all that stuff. You're literally just going to analyze it and look at it as a whole, very subjectively. Just look at it, right? And then you're going to go in, you're going to break it down by wins and downfalls. Now, the wins can be anything like, oh, you achieved this goal, you started working out, whatever it was. Maybe one of your goals was to not use food delivery apps. So one of your wins could be, I didn't use food delivery apps the whole month of November. And let's say that's one of your goals. So you could put that under wins. But let's say that was one of your goals and you didn't want to use food delivery apps for whole month of November, but let's say you ended up using it twice. Whereas normally you use it like 4 times a week. But in November, you only used it 2 times for the whole month. So you can decide whether you want to put that under a win. You could put it under a win of like, maybe I didn't achieve this goal of not using it at all, but I was able to put myself in a position where I'm actively trying to make that like the standard where I don't use food delivery apps. So you could put it under a win. It's like, instead of doing it 4 times a week, I literally only did it 2 times this month. So that could be a win. Or you could put it under a downfall of, I didn't achieve my goals. Like, I caved and I used a food delivery app. You know what I mean? So it really just is up to you, and it just depends on how critical of yourself you want to be, I guess. And this is a reminder, you need to be brutally honest with yourself. For these to work, you actually have to be like so honest, take such good accountability. So for example, if one of my goals was to not use a food delivery app for the month and I ended up using it 2 times, I would personally put that under a downfall, because there was no reason I needed to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I could have done XYZ. But let's say you got, really, really sick and you literally couldn't leave, and you live alone, and like you literally were bedridden and could not get up without like throwing up or like feeling nauseous or whatever. Like, obviously you're probably not going to put that in a downfall. You're probably going to put it in a win that it only was 2 times that month. But then you could write a little explanation like, oh, I was sick and like this is why I did it. But like, if this hadn't happened, I know that I wouldn't have done it. So then, you know what I mean? So it really just depends on what you want to do, how critical of yourself you want to be, and not critical in like a picking yourself apart type of way, but just critical enough to be able to make progress in your life. Because I feel like sometimes on social media people are so like, oh no, it's okay, like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Like, yeah, it's okay if you're actively working and trying and like achieving your goals and you're not making excuses for yourself, but it's not okay to just like be so passive in your life, you know what I mean? So that's the first thing you're gonna do. You're gonna make the wins and the downfalls list, and you're really just gonna like keep track of what happened this previous month. And now moving forward to being able to do the next part of the monthly audit, which this is where you're gonna look at the month ahead of you. So let's say you're doing this on November 30th. This is when you're gonna look at what you want your December to look like, and this is the most fun part. And then after you do all this is when, like, at the end of December, you can look back at it and you have all of this stuff to look at rather than just kind of like looking at your month. You actually have this whole like list and chunk of things to look at and analyze. The first thing we're gonna do is make a list of goals that we want to achieve for this upcoming month. So if you're doing this on November 30th, then you're gonna go ahead and write December 2024 goals, or whatever you're doing it, you know what I mean? And then you're just gonna write out everything you want to achieve in the month of December. Now, don't get this confused. You need to make these goals that are actually attainable, and for every goal you write down, you need to be able to have a little game plan to follow to actually be able to achieve these goals. This is like the easiest example to use, but let's say that in the month of December, you want to wake up at 5 a.m. every Monday through Friday. So instead of just writing that down and then hoping for the best, you're gonna write down the list of like, okay, so if I want to be able to wake up at 5 a.m. every Monday through Friday, I need to make sure that on Sunday through Thursday night, I'm going to bed at 10 p.m. And you need to be able to like be like, okay, and if I want to do that, then I need to take my makeup off at this time, and I need to be done with my workout at this time. Like, you need to actually look at this as this is something that requires a plan and it requires action, not just something that you hope can happen. Because sure, can you do things and achieve goals just based on like, well, I hope it works out for me? Yeah, but at the same time, it's not a very realistic way to go about things. So the game plan you need to make for each one of these goals. So okay, I'm gonna go to bed at 10 p.m., which means that I need to do this. And also, you know, maybe I always snooze my alarm, so I'm gonna put my phone out of reach so that in the morning when my alarm goes off at 5 a.m., I don't just roll over, hit the snooze button, and go back to bed, and I'm actually getting up out of bed. And then stuff like that. Just write out a list of the goals that you want to achieve, and maybe it's even just like, I don't know, like it could be literally whatever you want, just things that you're wanting to achieve. And if you're feeling like, well, I don't know what I want to achieve in December, go back to your New Year's resolutions list. Like, go back to your like 2024 master goal plan sheet, you know what I mean? And if you don't have one of those, that's okay too. We can always start fresh again. But also remember that if you are doing this for December, like, it's the last month of the year, okay? Like, make it count. Make these goals count, you know what I mean? I don't want to tell you to not be unrealistic, because realistically, everything you want is possible if you have the right mindset, the right discipline, the right action. However, if you're gonna say work out for 2 hours every single day this month, like, that is not realistic, because you don't know how you're gonna feel. Like, you could literally get sick. Like, literally this month, that was like one of my goals, was like, okay, like, stick to my workout plan. And then I don't know if you could still hear a little bit of my voice, but literally 2 weeks ago, like, I got knocked the fuck out. I was so sick. I was literally in bed for like a week and a half, just like rotting. So I was like, okay, well, like, I'm not gonna be mad, because I'm not gonna just force myself to work out, because one, I'm sick, I'll get everybody else sick. Two, my body is not going to be able to recover if I force myself to do this just because it's on my goal page. So just little things like that, like, be realistic. So it's like, instead of working out every single day, go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, whatever, you know what I mean? So after you make your list of goals, and after each one of your goals, you need to be able to like write down a little plan. So for example, if you want to go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, go make your workout schedule, go make your workout split, go make which classes you're going to take when, go figure that out beforehand. Because when you have a plan to follow, all you have to do is follow the plan. You don't have to worry about, well, like, I don't really know what to do today, so like, I don't know, like, and you're wasting all this time being stressed out, being confused, not knowing what to do, whereas you could just wake up and you could go. Literally, it's like not having a plan to follow is literally like getting in the car, knowing the final address of where you're going, but not knowing how to get there. Like, you get in the car, you know, okay, this is the address I want to get to. I'll just drive around aimlessly until I hopefully get there. No, because if you just put on the maps and you followed the directions, you would get there. You would get there. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter if you don't love this road because there's potholes in it. You would get there because that's the plan. That's the plan. So anyway, follow the plan, not your mood. After we have our list of goals written down, we're gonna make a list of habits that we want to pick up in this new month. And I love to use this app. It's called Habit, or like Habit Tracker. I don't know. If you look up Habit Tracker in the App Store, it's this little like pink logo with a little check mark in it, and it lets you do 5 habits for free. I only do 5 because 1, 5 habits is like more than enough to make or break per month, and 2, I don't feel like paying for another app, you know what I mean? These habits could be things that are in line with your goals. So we already made our goals and now we have our habits. So don't think of your habits as goals. Think of your habits as the stepping stones to get to your goals, or just simply, they could be whatever you want them to be. So for example, like I get really, really bad at drinking a gallon of water a day in like fall, winter, just because I'm so like, oh, like a cozy coffee, a cozy hot chocolate, and then my skin gets so dry, and then I break out, and then my makeup doesn't look good, and then I don't want to film, and then it's this whole terrible cycle. So I was like, okay, that needs to be an active habit that I'm actively keeping track of for the month of November, because I need to get in the habit of it now before it actually starts to get super, super cold and I don't ever want to drink water ever again, you know what I mean? So that's something that I've been keeping track of for the month. And then the best part about it is once you're habitually doing something, you no longer need to be in the habit of doing it, because it just now is your standard baseline for your actions. And another one I did for the month was to put my jewelry on, because I typically have like earrings on, necklaces on, whatever. I'm so bad at remembering to put my rings on, but I literally feel so much more like myself, and I just feel so much more put together when I have my jewelry on. So I made that a habit, because I like how I perform in my life better when I feel good about myself, and something that makes me feel good about myself is putting my jewelry on. And sure, could that sound very like vain, superficial to some people? Of course it can, because people could have a problem with literally anything. But for me, that's a habit that I wanted to start incorporating into the month of November. So now I just naturally am doing it, because we're already like halfway through November. I think we're a little bit more than halfway through November. That's actually a terrifying realization. But it's just a habit now. It's like, oh no, I can't leave the house before I put my jewelry on. It's not like an afterthought of like, oh shoot, I forgot to put my jewelry on. It's like, I get out of the shower, I put my lotion on, I put my rings on, I go about my day. Most of my habits have nothing to do with my goals that I've set for myself for the month of November. But they do have to do with me just doing something that makes me feel better, that makes me a better person, makes me able to show up better every day in life. Also, if you're like kind of stuck on like, oh well, I don't really know what to do, I don't know, you know what I mean? Literally just think of all the things that you say every single day. Oh, I wish I was the type of person that did this. I wish I was the type of person that cooked every day instead of got Chick-fil-A after work. I wish I was the type of person to wear PJ sets to bed instead of like an oversized shirt. Those little things, you know what I mean? So just those little things that you're constantly like, oh, like I wish I was the type of person to do that. Okay, so we've done our goals, we've done our habits, and now we get to do the more fun part. If you like creative things, we get to make a mood board for the month. Now, I don't necessarily want to call this a vision board for the month. You can make it a vision board if you want, but I more so am attracted to like the mood rather than like the vision, if that makes sense. I would much rather make a board of like, okay, this is how I want this month to feel rather than how I want it to look like. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically all I do is I go on Pinterest and I take a look at what my goals are. So let's say one of my goals is to stick to a workout plan or wake up every morning at 5. Let's say those are 2 of my goals. I'm gonna go on Pinterest and I'm gonna look up like 5 a.m. aesthetic, or like workout aesthetic, early morning workout aesthetic, like stuff like that, and just find whatever pictures you really like and put them in their own little board on Pinterest. And then just like, even if you're like, oh, like I want to like start wearing outfits like this, like just anything that you feel matches the vibe that you're going for, just put that all in a board. And then what I like to do is I like to go on Canva and turn it into a wallpaper, desktop wallpaper for my laptop. So I'll show you right now. This is what mine looked like for the month of November. obviously, like, I have stuff on my laptop, but you could just like tell the vibes, like you could see the vision, you know what I mean? A lot of mine are very like work related. Like I have, this is literally like one of my pictures of me editing over here, because I just wanted to make sure that I was a lot more consistent on posting on my main YouTube channel, because for October I did kind of fall off my posting schedule on there, and I just really wanted to make sure that I was doing it really well in November. And then like I just have some pictures in the gym, and I just have some like cute outfits, and then I have little words of affirmation like everything works in my favor, you're her, act like it. And then I have alarms going off at 4:50, 4:55, 5 o'clock, because I am back on my 5 a.m. grind, except for the fact that I was super sick, so that kind of made it a little bit difficult, but that's okay. Just stuff like that. That's just like things that I can look at and feel inspired by. Like one of my November goals is to get my left side split, and I have 2 pictures of girls like at the gym doing their splits. One of them's down here, but I can't see where from the viewfinder, but one of them's right there. But just stuff like that. And so yeah, just like whatever you want to do, and then whether you want to make it your phone wallpaper, your laptop wallpaper, or just keep it on Pinterest and just open Pinterest every day and look at it. But just things that make you feel inspired, because you know the saying that's like, you are who you surround yourself with, like, or like, what's that one saying, and it's like, show me your circle and I'll show you your future, or something like that. That's the same idea. Like, you can't necessarily control your external environment, but your subconscious mind doesn't understand the difference between your external reality versus the reality you're showing it. So if you show your mind a picture of whatever, your subconscious can't differentiate that. Your active, regular thinking brain can say, well, I'm just looking at a picture of a G-Wagon. But your subconscious sees a picture of a G-Wagon, all it's thinking is G-Wagon. It's not thinking picture of G-Wagon. It's thinking G-Wagon. And that goes into like how your subconscious mind literally will like control your whole reality, because your reality is all in here. But anyway, that's how you do a monthly audit, and that's how you level the fuck up every single month in your life. And it allows you, instead of making this whole like New Year's resolution, New Year's goals list, it allows you to take that whole giant list, which feels like you have so much time because, oh, well, it's the beginning of the year, I have so much time, these are all the goals I want to reach for the year. It allows you to actually look at each month and be like, okay, actually, I'm going to work on focusing more on this goal, more on this goal, and more on this goal. Instead of just being like, oh, well, like, hopefully I get them all done. No. You actually have to put in the effort to getting all these things done, okay? So that is how the fuck you do a monthly audit. And oh my gosh, if you decide to do it, let me know. Also, let me know if you're liking this more casual style Pretty Princess Command Center. I feel like it's more on brand for me. They started out super casual, and then they went to a little bit more like structured and like really like focused, and I really do like that. And some things really do require that amount of structure and everything, but I think there's a good happy medium, and I think we found it. So let me know how you're feeling. Also, I don't remember, I think I said this in the last Princess Diaries episode, but we are on a Monday only posting schedule. I'm not going to do 2 times a week over here anymore as of right now, just because it makes the most sense. Also, don't forget that if you want to watch how I actually apply all the things that I teach the Pretty Princesses, I have a vlog channel where you could see how I actually like live my everyday life. So I'm not just sitting here telling you guys what to do and acting like a complete bum and not doing it all. I'm actually doing these things. I did post a monthly reset, like monthly audit on my main channel, like when I was doing mine for November. So if you yeah, when I was doing my audit for November, but I was auditing October, making new stuff for November, monthly reset, whatever it's called. But anyway, on that note, I hope you have a pretty princess day.